computer. Hi, it's Jeneen of Jeneen C.A.R.E.S, where we're caring, achieving, restoring, empowering, and supporting our youth for the future. I'm excited today to start another season of Jeneen C.A.R.E.S, where we are looking at the voice of education. So I'm excited to be here with Dr. Christine Samuels, who serves in Frederick County Public Schools, but also works a lot in her community. So thank you for being here and tell us about your background and experiences as it relates to the field of education.
Well, thank you, Jeneen, for having me on today. I'm very excited to be here, and it's always a pleasure to be in your midst because you do so much within the community, and you just in general, when you're around people who are around the community, it makes you want to do better as well. And you definitely exemplifies that for our community. So thank you. And just to share a little bit about my background, is I've been in education for 22 years, and I started as a math teacher, a high school math teacher, as a matter of fact. And once I left high school, I went into like the middle school, and then I even did a little bit of elementary also. And so I've been in the charter school, and now my current role is a principal in a remote virtual program. So I am excited about my role now because I still continue to do the work of caring for youth. I still be able to have my collaboration with my parents and my staff, and it just makes everything great. And so I have a vast majority of a lot of different experiences that I bring to the education field.
Awesome. The virtual program sounds amazing. There are so many districts after the pandemic that started to look at the option or the alternative of having virtual, and it does work for some students. So thank you for leading that initiative along with other people. I know there's more than one principal right now for the virtual school. So you have one at every level, is that correct?
Well, see, the way this year the way the remote virtual program works is there's a grade 3 through 8, that's what I'm the principal of, and then we have someone with the high school, which is 9 through 12, where they have a different principal at that remote virtual program there. So I um I I do a lot of my interactions pretty much with grades 3 through 8 families.
All right. And so the virtual program, they still have access to a counselor and all the supports of a normal program?
Oh, that's the amazing part about the virtual program. Just to let you know about it, the virtual program it simply is a virtual learning experience for students who are for some reason are unable to attend their home schools at the time. It's not the fact that they stay there the whole time, and some students just need to be reacclimated back into the school. As for instance, if a student has to go into home hospital and maybe have been out for maybe like 3 months and just needs to be reintegrated back into the classroom where there's a lot of students and there may be a lot of different just maybe a lot of different distractions that may be there that may set them off at that point, and that's where our program really comes into play at. We Students are accepted into our program. You have to apply into our program, and we see if we can meet their needs because we have students with all different types of needs. We have students who with social emotional needs. We have students with special, special education needs, and we can meet their needs. And that's why there's an application process, because we do have a meeting and we want to make sure we can meet a student's need before they even apply to the program. So it just depends on the student and the family and what it is that they are looking for in the program. But the program, is amazing. And as of right now, in our program, we have around 210 students from grades 3 through 8 in our program now.
That is amazing. I was not aware that there was an application process for that. So that's awesome. So thank you again for leading that. As we consider the impact of the pandemic, what is something that you are doing that's in your control, right? That's consistent that you do when you're working with students?
And that's a big piece, believe it or not, in the virtual program, because we get to emphasize, that the learning process, and also that everyone don't learn at the same rate. We also try impose upon the students to be advocates for themselves. We try and let them know when there's something you don't understand, and just to be an advocate for yourself. And students are able to do that because they feel like the setting is a smaller setting for them, and so even in our virtual program, students have their cameras on, so they are still able to see other students. They're able to see their teachers with that piece of it. So I would say, Jess, we continue to tell the youth, we tell them their worth, and that just because some of them may not want to be in the virtual program initially, but we continue to encourage and to just let them know we're there for them to help them to get where they want to be, whether they want to continue with the virtual program throughout high school, or once they finish grades, the eighth grade, they may want to go back into person. And we help them with that transition process along with the families.
That's awesome. I remember seeing in Frederick High School the virtual program graduation last year, where we were doing the New Horizons Summer Academy. We had, the principals from all the different schools coming to the graduation. So sounds like an amazing program. Again, thank you for that. So as you think about self-care, and I know sometimes people in the field of education don't find that sweet time to do that. Is there something that you are doing for self-care?
Taking care of children is my self-care. How about that? uh,
That does
okay.
not qualify as self-care. I remember one time I said, I'm taking leave and I'm going to have some self-care. I'm going to spend time with my family and my children. It's not always self-care. So what are you doing for you? Didn't you do massages at one point?
uh, so most definitely. So I do get monthly massages as my self-care, and that's my time. And I also have started to dedicate my me time. Is that it's just me, and it's whatever I want to do, and I make sure I do that at least once a week. There's 2 hours that week that is for me. No one gets to impose upon that time. So I get to do that. I determine that. So if anyone were to call me even on my phone during that time frame, I'm not answering because I'm taking care of me at that point. Because I feel like if I can take care of me, I can take care of so many more of the students, that cross my path. So I need to be ready for them as well.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm glad you're taking that uninterrupted time. And as an administrator, as anything dealing with education, we definitely need to find that time. So, two more questions. What has been the hardest thing for you as you think about the impact on students or staff or parents since the pandemic?
Um, when you think about the impact of what the pandemic did, it actually impacted everyone. And so even when we think about just regulating the social emotional part of like students, it goes also with the parents and the staff. And so I know we focused so much initially about that social emotional skills for like students, but then you have to step back and realize we have teachers and parents who are also affected and don't know how to self-regulate. They may need resources as well. And so I find that to be the hardest at this time because you don't exactly know where someone's social emotional levels are because they're different. And you have to be able to take each person where they are and go from there because that's where you make the biggest impact. Just to sit and get to know families, get to know students, people, just get to just have conversation, be a good listener, and by listening to different people, I think that's how you can better manage that piece. But that is the hardest piece because you're trying to make a difference, and you want to make sure that you're actually helping everyone, and that can wear on you at times because it's like you're taking on everything with them versus trying like, okay, what can I do to actually help them?
Yes, I know recently I sat and listened to teachers and counselors at a forum that was sponsored by our teachers union. And it was the idea of, constantly pouring or taking from your cup, but no one really pouring into some staff sometimes. And so I really encourage anyone who is an administrator or supporting in a PTA or schools, consider that wellness and that that plan for how you can celebrate and recognize that staff are dealing with a lot, and also to educate your parents and engage them as well and take care of them and find those wraparound services. I'm excited about our initiatives with the community schools and all the services that come with that, but I think all of our schools could use additional wraparound services more and more. It's never enough, right? i'm also I'm also excited to hear you kind of emphasize in an indirect way restorative practices in a way, thinking about that piece of it. We're building community with our staff. I know you are doing a lot with
Oh,
your staff to build community, even in a virtual program. And you shared some things with me about that. But what advice, as we close out this interview, what advice did you have for either staff, students, or parents, or you can speak to everyone if you like?
yes. Even before we get to that, Janine, when you brought up the restorative practice, because I would never forget when you did your restorative practices for us and just kind of like giving us the training. And I must admit, that is the greatest tool that I feel like I have. and can actually implement within our program. So yes, restorative practice. Yes, we definitely enjoy doing that. And so what when I think about just the program in general and just education and just when I'm going back into the position that I am now as the principal of the remote virtual program, it's a partnership. Doesn't matter if you're a partnership in a virtual program or in person. You have to be able to maintain that partnership between the students, the staff, and the parents. Because when you gain that partnership, everyone wins. We may not always like what the other one have to say, but as long as we're looking out for the good, we're making sure we're giving good advice and leading people in the right direction. I really believe that would make our education system a lot stronger. We have to be able to put that first and put our own biases, put our own thought process aside, and just be able to look at everyone for whom they are and actually move forward in education. If that's what we're going to be able to even move our students, we're going to have to ensure that is something that we do within the school system in order to make progress with our students and our families because we love them. I love what I do, and I just like making a difference. That's where I'm at. I just like making a difference.
Thank you so much, Dr. Christine Samuel. She was with me in Montgomery County Public Schools as a math teacher, and she joined Frederick County Public Schools and is doing amazing work here, has been a leader in several communities. So if you're watching this, you probably know her from several different communities, even here in Frederick. And you've only been here since maybe what, 2017? So
Yeah, 2016 is when I came.
2016. So I appreciate all the work, your leadership, your support. You're always available when I call. So thank you so much for your service and your dedication and commitment to our students, our families, and our staff members. Once again,
Thank you.
it's Jeneen of Jeneen Cares, where we're caring, achieving, restoring, empowering, and supporting our youth for the future. We are highlighting those educational rock stars. And I look forward to talking to more people on Jeneen Cares. Make it a great day on purpose.